Hello, guys! Welcome back to a brand new episode of Inspirit. Unwrap your spirit. You are listening an inspiring entrepreneurial podcast by IADC Bootcamp CEC. And I am Sreelakshmi, your host for today's episode. A new year is a time for inspirational dreams, but more importantly, it is a time to set your goals to see the dreams that turns into a reality. Our guest we have today is such an inspiring personality who overcomes her life-changing challenges with her courage to dream. She is the Relations Strategist, Neuro-linguistic Programming Trainer, and also the Director at Inspire Human Potential Private Limited. Bharti Naik. So, ma'am, I welcome you to the new episode of Inspirit and also thank you for joining with us to share your valuable words to all the listeners who are listening to us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, and I'm really happy to share all my insights, my experience, my learnings that I had throughout my life.
Actually, it's our pleasure, ma'am. Ma'am, most of us doesn't know what is meant by neuro-linguistic programming. So, can you please tell me a few words about it?
Okay, so neuro linguistic programming has three words: neuro, that talks about the way we think, linguistic, talks about the words that we use, the language that we speak, and programming talks about the way we do things in our life. So, in simple words, NLP is a bundle of very powerful and scientific tools that helps us to reprogram the way we think, the way we speak, and the way we do. It is like an instruction manual that we have. So, what happens is when you are applying NLP in your life, it actually helps us to step by step understand what and why we think the way we think, why we choose certain words to speak, what actually it means, and how do we do things in our life, because sometimes when we do things in our life, it gives us some results, and sometimes we don't get results. So when we get results, we are all good and happy with that, but when we don't get results, that is where we start thinking that what is wrong with us. So NLP helps us to understand that and also helps us to reprogram the way we do things.
Okay, ma'am. I hope it will be useful for those who haven't any idea about NLP. Then, ma'am, the most of the successful person have challenging stories behind them. So, what are the challenges which inspire you to go into this line of work?
It is said that you don't choose your dreams, but your dream chooses you. And something similar happened with me. I'll share a little bit about my life and the challenges that I went through, and that's what made me who I am right now. So when I was in my college, in my 12th standard, I wanted to become a surgeon, and hence I took up 12th science because I was very fascinated with the science and would love math. So that is what I was inclined to, but I did not score well and hence did not get admission to medical college. After that, I was thinking of what is the other profession that I would pick up and that will really help me, because I'm very aspirational and I always have big dreams and want to achieve something in my life. So that is what my dream was. But nevertheless, I entered into a college and started my first year. And when I entered the second year of college, probably at the age where any young girl at the second year college would enjoy those college days, would enjoy the friends and everything. Now imagine if now imagine you are at that stage of your life where you are having fun with your friends, enjoying the college days, and that's the time when you get married and you have to leave everything behind and start a new life with somebody else in some another city. So when this happened, that was the first time when it was kind of a shock for me, and I had to leave my studies, I had to leave everything. And that was the first challenge that happened with me, because I was aspirational. I wanted to do something in my life, but life gave me a very different turn. And I accepted that fact, and I moved on with this life, only to realize that at the age of 20, I have a baby girl in my hand. So I delivered a baby girl in the first year of my marriage. And at one point of time, I was wondering that I am 20 and God has given me a life in my hand. Now at the age of 20, when I myself am wondering about my life, and God has given me this tiny little life in my hand to nurture. And that was little difficult for a 20-year-old to accept and adapt to a certain situation, because accepting to a life of a marriage and then adapting to becoming a mother at 20 was very, very difficult, considering that I was aspirational and wanted to study and wanted to do something in life. But then I still, went ahead with my life, and then realized that the relationship in which I was not a good relationship. It was a bad relationship. Went through a lot of abuses and a lot of violence, and spent 6 years in that mess. Did not had courage to come out of this, and was always thinking that how I can make my life better, how I can protect my daughter, how I can stand up for myself. And there came a point in my life where everything went beyond my capacity to tolerate, my capacity to bear the pain. And when the threshold came, I just left the house with the child and came back to my parents' house. And then those 2 years were very, very difficult phase for me, where I didn't know how to deal with my life. I didn't know how to manage my situations financially, emotionally. I was shattered, and also taking care of a child in all the ways. So those were the 2 years that actually gave me the strength, the courage, the power, the inner motivation, the inner drive that I have still date. So in those 2 years, one, I was not graduate. The second, I was disheartened with a broken marriage, and I had came back to my parents' house. And the third, I was having a baby in my hand, and she was hardly 5-year-old. So that was the amidst all these things, I had to pull my socks. I had to pick up myself up and collect all the pieces of my life and put it together. So the first thing I did, of course, I had the support of my parents, my sister, my friends. When I came back, they came to know about my situation, and they were all shattered with when they came to know about all these things. So the first thing that I did was I went to my college, went to my university, and requested for giving me admission to the college. And after some of the struggles and continuous persistence, I managed to get the admission in my college. So that was my first thing. So I realized that the challenge starts when you pick up your pieces and you want to pull everything together. That's where the challenge starts. It doesn't start when you are sitting in your home, when you are sitting and doing nothing. It only starts when you start taking action. So that was the first challenge which I overcome. The second challenge was imagine being a 23, 24-year-old, and you are entering the classroom of 19-year-olds, and they are all enjoying their college days, having a nice conversations with their friends, talking about fashion, talking about lipsticks, movies, boyfriends. And I'm the odd one out, who is a mother of a child and who is there to study, do some serious work, and being a part of those students, being a part of those girls. So it was again a very difficult phase for me to build a rapport with them, connect with them, understand how they are, because none of the girl was ready to accept me, considering my age and my stage of life. They all think I'm some auntie who has entered the college. But I managed to. So it took me a month to build that relationship with them, and slowly and gradually they started. I started gaining their trust, and they started putting their faith in me, and I became a voice for them. So they elected me as their class representative, and I started approaching universities for any kind of challenges that these girls had, and that's how I started winning their hearts. So that was the challenge that I overcome. The third challenge was my financial background. Since my father was taking care of all the finances, and it was really difficult at that time, so I had to do something about it. So uh, I approached a company with a call center services, and I started working in a call center. Now, call center at that point of time, of course, was night shift. So they asked me to come for the night shift, and it was again difficult because during the day I was going through college, and at night if I'm doing this night shifts, it would be very difficult to manage my health, and of course giving time to my child and also studies. So I took a part-time work from the call center. So my routine for 2 years was something like this. At night 3 a.m. I would leave for the office, and I will log into the office. I'll start my work in a call center. I will finish my 5 hours of work, and after that I would log out and rush to my college, which was 10-15 minutes from there, and will attend the regular college, not bunking any of the class. And after attending all the college sessions and all the lectures, I would go back home somewhere around afternoon or around 4 p.m. in the evening, reach home and take care of my child, take care of my studies, her studies, give some time to her, do some household work, help my mom, and then take some rest, take some sleep, and then going back to 3 a.m. office. That I did for 2 years, only to get some financial support, and that was very, very encouraging. So at that time, when I reflect back, when I look back, what was it that was driving me? It was only one thing that was driving me, that I want to make my life better. I want to bring those pieces together and make it as my life. This is not how I want my life to be. So uh, inner uh, that inner power that I could develop in me, that actually was driving me to do all these things. And then uh, the another challenge in that same 2 years was to fight for my fight for the custody of my daughter, fight for because was ready to give divorce, and he was not ready to sign the papers. So I had to literally go to the courtroom, go to the police stations, and meet all the lawyers, go to the courtrooms, fight for it, raise my voice, convince the judges, anything and everything that I could do to get my life back, to get my daughter's custody back. So that was again a very challenging situation that came in my life, because something that is yours and you have to fight for it because that matters to you the most, that is really, really painful, because uh, and that's what also was a driving factor for me. So all that events that happened with me in those 2 years, actually, if you they have shaped me, they have made me who I am. So when I say they have shaped me, the kind of power that I have, the kind of resilience that I have, the kind of clarity that I bring in, the kind of inner passion that I have, that all comes from those events that happened with me in the life. And hence when I decided to go through this line of work where I can contribute to people's life, where I can bring some person in life, that inspires me even today. Other challenges that came in my way were when I became an entrepreneur and started my entrepreneur journey. So, again, as a woman entrepreneur, going and asking for work to the multinational companies, to the corporates, meeting the HR heads or meeting heads of the department was not at all easy. And especially if you're a woman and you enter into a corporate life as a entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, it is very, very difficult. You face a lot of challenges, right from people taking you for granted to people seeing you only as a woman and not as a businesswoman, and sometimes taking advantage some terms of not also sometimes throwing some kind of challenges at the last moment. So those were some of the events I faced during my entrepreneur journey, but trust me, these challenges actually made me a very, very beautiful and a strong, bold, humble person. I became humble, I became more strong, I became more powerful only by facing all these challenges in my entrepreneurship. Because when I had to deal with people, especially men in the corporate world, now it gives me a very different kind of momentum. I can handle them, I can manage myself, manage my work, and I can still draw a line of respect. And now I am very easily able to understand what it means when somebody says something. So those are the challenges that came in my life and that inspires me even today.
Ma'am, I'm sure that for all those who are listening to us now can feel your courage and also the way you manage the difficult situations that you face in your life. It was so inspiring. And your story was one of the motivating stories much needed in these days.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. So, ma'am, how can you keep yourself always motivated without getting
Uh,
demotivated?
I would say, I don't know, I have never thought about this, that why I don't get motivated. I think if I call it as 100%, hardly there would be 1% or 2% where I would have felt demotivated at some point of time. But again, that would be momentarily, where few minutes and then I get back to my life. Maybe I can put it this way: my inner drive, my passion and love towards my work, my fulfillment when I see personal transformation in others' life, the purpose of my life, when I see that work happening, I think that keeps me motivated, and that is all I look for. Because uh, not even a single moment in my life has come where I can say that I am bored or I don't like this life, or uh, nothing that has come. Because my philosophy or my belief is that as you grow in your life, you grow for two things: one, to influence others, and second, to inspire others. So if you're influencing and inspiring others, it is very natural that you yourself are motivated, and hence you can do this. So I think my passion and love for my work and my inner drive, my life's purpose, that keeps me motivated.
Okay, that's great, ma'am. I hope it will be interesting for the listeners too. So, before going to wind up our segment, ma'am, as an entrepreneur, can you give a message to the upcoming entrepreneurs?
Well, yes. So the journey of an entrepreneur comes with a bumpy ride. It's not a very easy, smooth highway that you pick up your car and you just drive, and sometimes you drive at a full speed. It doesn't happen this way. It's a very bumpy ride, and you need two things. If you want to be a very successful entrepreneur, you need two things. One is passion, You must be passionate about what you are doing and what you believe in. And the second is discipline. You need to be disciplined about your work. You need to be disciplined about what you deliver, what you speak, what you say. So when these two things combine together, you you are successful in your entrepreneur journey, and any one element is missing. So imagine if you are passionate but you are not disciplined. You will work beyond a point, but after that you will get tired and you won't do it. And because in an entrepreneur journey, you face a lot of challenges, you face a lot of failures, and these failures uh, are that rock bottom, as J.K. Rowling mentioned, that in the midst when I was facing those challenges, when I hit the rock bottom, that was the stepping stone for me to rise up. So whenever there are failures, I don't look them as failures, I look them as feedback, I look them as my learnings. Because when I fail, I'm just going down and hitting the floor. And when I hit the floor, I can press myself like a spring and I can rise myself up. So my only message to the upcoming entrepreneurs, that the journey is a bumpy journey. It is not an easy smooth ride. There are no breaks, no holidays for an entrepreneur. So you need to work hard, you need to give your best, you need to do whatever it takes to make it successful, because it's your idea, it is your baby, and you need to be disciplined and passionate about your work.
As we all know, failure is a stepping stone to success. So, ma'am, I hope your message will be so encouraging for the listeners. Also, the story and the way you're motivating others was so inspiring. So, once again, I thanking you for sparing your valuable time and sharing your inspiring words with us. Absolutely, it was a great time with you.
Thank you so much. It was really pleasure, and really hope that my message or my words could reach people, and I could in some way add value to their lives, and they get inspired.
Hi all, welcome back. You'll be listening to Inspirit and I'm your host Sreelakshmi. Have you heard about the latest underwater fish robot? You want to know more about it? Then listen to our next segment, Interesting Inventions. The scientists and researchers from Harvard University have developed fish robots called Bluebird. They can swim underwater like real fish using their fins. Humans have been developing robots for their various purposes. However, the researchers and scientists now gone up to the next level and are seeking inspiration from fishes to develop underwater robots. The 3D printed robots are about 10 cm long, and the design was partially inspired by the blue tank fish, which is native to Indo-Pacific. Each robotic fish, known as Bluebird, is equipped with cameras and blue LED lights that senses the direction and distance of others inside the water tank. They swim using their flapping fins rather than their propellers, which improves their efficiency as compared to standard underwater drones. So, let us move on to our next segment, a motivational entrepreneur journey. I hope you all heard about an entrepreneur has rocketed up the ranking, surpassing all the world's top billionaires according to the report on 10 January 2021. Yes, it's Elon Musk, the man behind Tesla and SpaceX. So now let us hear more about that inspiring personality. Elon Musk was born in South Africa on 28 June 1973. He was a chronic daydreamer who used to get lost in his imagination. His parents thought that he was deaf and forced him to have a surgery when he stopped responding well because of his daydreaming. His first company was Zip2 Corporation, an online city guide. Then, in 1999, he co-founded X.com, which later became PayPal. After selling his two companies, he founded SpaceX, the Space Exploration Technology Corporation, with a small budget in 2002. Their first test in 2006 was a failure. There was more setback, failure, and explosion. But he finally succeeded and NASA agreed to deal with the organization. In 2004, he co-founded Tesla to make affordable electric cars, battery products, and solar roofs, etc. Tesla Motors was a great success because of his extraordinary design and vision. After that, he also co-founded Neuralink and the Boring Company. His success story is not just inspirational, but also redefines the word innovation in the modern startup world. So that's all for today's episode of Inspirit. This podcast is brought to you by IDC Bootcamp CEC. I hope you all enjoyed the segments. Thank you for listening us and see you at the next episode.